Futures Game. You guys live for this and these players, and I absolutely love it. So I want to talk about the Futures Game. People watching at home, what can they expect just before we get into players, the Futures Game? What makes you guys so excited about the Futures Game?
Well, first of all, I'm really glad, last year it was so much craziness to move the draft to All-Star Week for the first time and doing the Futures Game and the draft on the same day. It was a long day. It was super fun, but I'm glad that this event has its own day again. I still feel like it should be even more, highlighted than it is. There's still going to be some Major League regular season games going on, but still, I love this event because, this is the future. And when you go back and you look at the rosters of these teams, even from last year, we had Julio Rodriquez in the game last year, right? And Julio's
he's a big league all-star. He's here again.
Julio is still younger than more than half the players in the Futures Game. Shouting him out for that. But if you look at those rosters like that, it's not that far into the future, right?
It's not like the draft, right? If you look at the top 10 of a draft, it's how many of these guys turn into something. The Futures Game, if you want to see the next generation of baseball, that's what you have to tune
in. So the Futures Game is almost like if we watch the first round of the NFL draft, you're going to draft a stud, you're going to be in the NFL soon. When you watch the Futures Game, you're watching studs. They will be on your favorite 100%. Team soon.
100%. And that's what makes it so exciting because they've proven things. These are guys generally that are already high on prospect lists that have performed in the minor leagues, and there are some super fun names, as always. It's no surprise, but man, I'm really excited for Saturday's game.
Let's start Anthony's shortstop, Anthony Volpe. Stud. What can we expect from him?
So the thing that's so interesting about him, right, is think about Derek Jeter and think about how many kids in the New York area lied in their beds at night dreaming of one day being Derek Jeter. It's like millions of people.
It's a lot of
in
people.
the New York area dreamt of being on the Yankees
I'm
one
from
day.
The Richmond area, and I grew up wanting to be.
Of course.
It goes beyond just the New York.
Yeah, dude, even beyond it. But just how many people wanted to be that. And it's so hard to make the minors or make the bigs or whatever.
Right.
It's even harder if you're from a place like New York, where I live, where it's cold and there aren't many fields and whatever. Anthony Volpe is the one person who is living that reality. He's living the dream of not just his own dream, but the dreams of every diehard Yankees fan in the New York area. Volpe is from New Jersey, about 45 minutes southwest of Yankee Stadium. Had Yankee posters plastered on his wall as a kid.
That's so cool.
And was drafted by them in the first round. Was in 2019, was fine in 2019. Pandemic happens, I don't know if you saw.
Heard about it. We played a lot dude The Show together during that pandemic.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I gave my PS4 away at this point. Now, it was too much. Comes back out of 2020 and looks like a completely different player.
Okay.
So much more power. When he was drafted, it was like, he's got bat to ball ability. He's a good defender, skills over tools type guy. Comes back and he's just crushing the ball. 2021 goes up to reaches high A. Goes from unranked to one of the best prospects in baseball. And now he's in AA, had a really rough start to the year. Last month and a half, electric.
Yeah.
Best part, the AA affiliate for the Yankees is in Somerset, New Jersey. 15-minute drive from where he grew up, from his home. It's literally his house.
Way.
And he's staying at home.
That's so cool.
He's staying at home with his parents and commuting from from there to the
pretty
yard.
sick summer job for Volpe.
Yo, dude, what are you doing this summer?
Yeah.
I'm mowing lawns. I'm on the Yankees AA team.
Yeah, but I don't have to leave to go play in the Futures Game. Yeah. But I'm going to stay with my mom, save some meal money.
But there was a double-edged sword to that, right? So, Ben, imagine if your, second stop on the minor league journey, third stop, was at home in Richmond. And, you were the guy and everyone is coming out and,
so
watching you, right? And there's just a very unique amount of pressure. There's no more pressure-filled minor league baseball experience. It doesn't exist.
No, I agree.
Shortstop, top prospect, Yankees, from the area, all your friends are home from the summer watching you. And it kind of drained on him a little bit at the beginning of the year.
It has to. I remember when I was playing in Lakeland, there are double-A right fielder, so our AA team was in Erie. Our AA right fielder went down, got hurt, looked bad. They call our manager, I get called in, it's like, hey, we're not sure yet, but you're probably going to be going up to AA to play. I look at the schedule, that next series is against Richmond. I'm like, this would be the coolest thing of all time. And I already started getting nervous for it because, the place, it's the Giants affiliate, but the place would be rooting for me, which would be the coolest thing of all time.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they're like, hey, it's just a slight tweak. He's going to be fine.
JKLOL.
Just stay. And
you were already thinking about it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
But he has this every night, right? He has people asking for tickets. He has, jerks like me coming down from New York City to ask him questions before he's trying to play games.
Yeah.
There's the media circus at a AA park, which is super unique. They have a bump in ticket sales just because he's there, right? It's a big deal, and he'll be in the Futures Game. And like, you know, I mean, he's a shortstop for the Yankees. Like, he's gonna matter, right? Super smart kid, really impressive player. I don't know if he's like Tatis, Acuna, you know, Troy Tulowitzki level electric at short. You know, I know Acuna doesn't play short, but he's more of like a really good player, leader. Kind of think about, you know, Dansby Swanson with a little bit more contact is kind of the level of player I think he could be.
There's a few guys in this game that I'm really excited to watch, and I know you guys are excited to watch all of them, but Jake, your Orioles are killing it these days, but I feel like, is it sustainable this year? Probably not, but in the future, they have a lot coming. So I want to ask both of you guys about potential future shortstop of the Baltimore Orioles, Gunnar Henderson, who appears to be an absolute stud. So before you get your bias involved here, Jordan, talk to me about Gunnar Henderson. Is he the real deal, and what can we expect on Saturday?
So Henderson, and we can tie this back to the draft, right? High school hitters are so exciting because when you get to enter pro ball and start your pro career that young and start putting up numbers at that, you know, at a younger age, the way that Volpe didn't initially, but still had time to be young for the level when he came back in 2021. Henderson has just dominated just since he's gotten into pro ball. And now he's all the way up to AAA. And he was not necessarily, because Adley was getting all the attention, of course, Grayson Rodriguez. Now, he was a high draft pick, but he has kind of been weirdly under the radar. And now that we've had a lot of prospect graduations, now we're looking around like, how many prospects are better than Gunnar Henderson? It's not many.
Well, this is a big thing, big narrative for this Futures Game, is we had the top 5 prospects in baseball are currently, from last year's list, are all in the big leagues. Adley Rutschman, Bobby Witt Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, they're all gone. And so that leaves a void at the top of the list, and this Futures Game is really almost a changing of the guard of the next generation of top prospects, and Gunnar Henderson is definitely on that list. Now, is he a shortstop? Probably not, but he can really hit.
Awesome. So I want to give you guys, I'm going to ask you both this. One player, besides the two we have talked about, Volpe and Gunnar Henderson, that you and everybody at home should be most excited to watch tonight at the Futures Game. Jordan, I'll start with you.
I don't want to take...
No, I'm going to pick a different one. I'm going to swerve. You take that one.
Okay. I will go then with Jackson Chourio of the Milwaukee Brewers. And the reason why I'm going to take Jackson Chourio is because a year ago, I had never heard of this young gentleman named Jackson Chourio. And I follow this stuff very closely.
It's all he does.
It's all I do.
Jordan, he doesn't talk to me. He just has spreadsheets with draft names.
It's not wrong, right? But Jackson Chourio, who is younger than Drew Jones, so keep that in mind. He's the youngest player in this game by far. Milwaukee Brewers
younger than high school player.
He is younger than the high school. Some of the high schoolers that will be selected in this year's draft, and he's already in pro ball and he's killing it. You know, he's an A-ball, and he is the kind of electric outfield talent like an Acuna type. Now, look, we're not thinking about him that level, right? And he got a good amount of money when he signed out of Venezuela, but man, for him to go this quickly, and I was like, are they already going to invite Jackson Chourio to this game? And I'm glad he's here. I can't wait to see him. And especially, you know, one of the best parts of the Futures Game is you know, the batting practice and seeing guys take BP in big league parks. So I can't wait to see a guy like him take swings.
Jake?
I'm excited about Cardinals shortstop prospect Mason Wynn. And here is why. The awesome types of players in the big leagues that we have right now, they're all great, but a lot of them are kind of the same mold of this long, tall, wiry, super freak athlete. Think Correa, Tatis, Acuna, like that kind of build. Big power, right? Plays a good shortstop. Mason Wynn is not that type of athlete. He's more like, he's like 5'11", like built, sturdy, but quick twitch. And he was throwing 96 off the mound in high school. Some teams thought of him as a two-way prospect. The Cardinals were like, you know what? We think you're a pitcher, but we're going to let you hit for a year. Go ahead. And he crushed it. He was awesome. And now in his second year, he's been just as good. He's stealing a ton of bases, awesome runner. And it's not it's not like overwhelming power. It's like good, not great. But the bat to ball skills for a kid coming out of high school are unbelievable. And the arm from short is great. And so I'm excited for him because it's a different type of great player, right?
Yeah.
Bat to ball, let the legs work, awesome defense, awesome arm at short. And maybe one day he might pitch a little bit too.
Oh, we'll see.
Oh, and then last one, just very quickly. Ellie De La Cruz, Cincinnati Reds. If you've heard of O'Neal Cruz, you like the vibe.
I've heard of him.
Tall. We call him.
Maybe you've even seen him.
Maybe you've even seen him.
Hard, tough to miss.
He's in the big leagues finally. They called him up. In my mind, he's baseball Giannis, is how I think of O'Neal Cruz, right? He's baseball Giannis. Ellie De La Cruz with the Reds is a more O'Neal Cruz version of O'Neal Cruz. He's tall.
Not that tall.
He's close. It's the tall, lanky, crazy pop.
Yeah.
Absurd speed for a guy his size, switch hitter, like really volatile. He could either be O'Neal Cruz or he could never make it to AA, and looks like he is going to be the real deal.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.